Hi, and welcome to this stop at the Story Station with Words Alive, where we share ideas for the big people who are exploring books with little people. We know that readers are born on the laps of the people who love them, and one of the things we can model for the young readers in our lives is the things that we do in our head once we become a capable, fluid, strong reader later on. One of the things we do as readers is ask ourselves questions as we read. It's something we do to help us understand or comprehend whatever it is that we're reading. Modeling this for the young people in our lives is a very powerful way to help them start building the ability to make a mental image in their head, like the movie version of whatever it is that we're reading. It's very natural to ask questions that are observable. Things like, what color is that? Or how many oranges are there? Things that can be counted and named easily. And those are wonderful questions, especially for little people who are interested in what things are called or pointing out things that they know. As readers grow, one of the ways our questions can grow with them is to ask them questions, wait for their response and add to it, or ask questions that allow them to think of something broader, something they can't see that's on the page or that's on that particular page. Let me give you an example from a book today. This is a book called Too Many Mangoes, a story about sharing, written by Tammy Pakai. It's an awesome story about a family who has a mango tree in their backyard with way too many mangoes, and two young children take a wagon full of mangoes around the neighborhood and share them with their neighbors, and every neighbor gives them something in return. In this story, a very easy question to start with, or any book for that matter, when you look at the cover, is to ask your young reader before you read and after you share the title, Too Many Mangoes, a story about sharing, is to ask them something like, what do you think this book is going to be about? And see what they say. If they say something that is clearly connected to what is on the cover or what the story is going to be about, you can be like, wow, great observation. And if it's something that's a little off, then you can help build their understanding by explaining what it is you can observe. If you've got little people, on a page like this, you might ask the golden question we're always carrying around in our pocket. Very simple, can work on any page in any book, and that is, whoa, what do you see? If it's a little person, they might point to something that they're excited about in the world. They might just touch the picture of the dog. And you could say something like, yes, a dog, woof, woof, and maybe make it sound together. Other kids might point out something very different from the dog, like point to the kids. Or they might say, those children are playing. And you can add to that by saying, yes, that brother is helping his sister up into the tree. I wonder what they'll do once they're sitting in that tree. Another idea from this same story is a picture of the children approaching a neighbor. And before you read the text, maybe ask a question here, the same question, whoa, what do you see? Or you could ask something like, what is this neighbor sharing? And children are going to show us what interests them, and every child may have a different response to what you ask. So they could say different things, like neighbor sharing fruit, or something yellow, or bananas. And you can add to that by saying, I would want to share those bananas to make something yummy like banana bread. Another example from the same story might be when the kids are walking home with their wagon full. And you might ask something like, oh, what do you see in the wagon? And let the kids point to what they find or name the things that they see. Another question we might ask, if kids are a little older, would be something like, wow, what do you think they're gonna do with all of those things in their wagon? Let's turn the page and see. And while the answer on that page doesn't really matter, let's see what they're gonna do with the things in their wagon. It shows your young person that we think about the things we read while we're reading them. And questions are a wonderful way to model that and to show the breadth that questions can take, how broad they might be in the things that are being asked. So try this out and see what you think. And thank you for joining us for this stop on the Words Alive Story Station.